Thank you for attending the Cannabis Investor Webcast. We'd like to thank our platinum sponsors, Med-Cannabis Pharma Incorporated, Naturally Splendid Enterprises Limited, Cabinet Grow Incorporated, Medical Marijuana Incorporated, Lexaria Corp., and Future World Incorporated. We would like for you to reserve the dates May 23rd through May 25th, 2016 for the Cannabis Publicly Traded Companies Investor, Analyst, and Media Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. Again, that's May 23rd through May 25th, 2016. The website address is www.cannainvestorconference.com. Again, www.cannainvestorconference.com. Our next presenters today is Graciela Moreno, CEO, and joining her for Q&A would be Garrett Vogel, CFO of Med-Cannabis Pharma Incorporated.
Well, thank you so much, Derwin, for having us on the webinar today. We're extremely excited. We've definitely been staying quite busy on this side. I'm actually in Oregon right now, and so not sure if everybody in the industry knows, but Oregon just started their recreational sales as of October 1st. So we've seen great strides in sales this week alone, and that's really exciting as well. So we are Med-Cannabis Pharma, and our ticker symbol is MCPI. And our vision is to become the market leader in retail, cultivation, and infused marijuana products. Our goal is to have that vertical integration with dispensaries to sell the product, cultivation as far as growing the product, and also infused products to extend the distribution of different types of infused products. So we're located in Bend, Oregon, and we're looking to expand our growth model towards other states that are becoming legal, and that's happening fairly quickly. Also, so we recognize that our product is believed to improve the quality of life of individuals suffering from certain medical conditions. And the National Cancer Institute had some preliminary research studies, and they're stating that cannabinoids may inhibit tumor growth and may be able to kill cancer cells while protecting the normal cells. And so also along the same lines, the National Cancer Institute states that over 15 million of people in the United States are living with cancer. That being said, my company and we definitely believe and recognize that there is an absolute need for a company like ours to provide the safe access, the ease of access, and quality products. Quality and consistency remain part of our core values, and with the increasing amount of patients, of medical patients, and of medical conditions that are on the list of qualified conditions for marijuana purchasing and marijuana cannabinoids, that also increases our market as well. So we're definitely looking to expand our products and our stores and our company throughout the states and eventually throughout the country. So a little bit about the industry overview. The legal marijuana industry is among the fastest growing industries in the United States. The market for legal cannabis grew 74% in 2014 to $2.7 billion, and that's up from $1.5 billion in 2013. So the projections for 2015, which will be coming out soon, are pretty tremendous. And as I said, that as more states start to legalize, and Oregon here is at 2%, I'm guessing by the end of this quarter, and probably closer to about 20 to 25%. Washington also, I would imagine, would increase from 8%. So as far as the industry overview as well, the mainstream media, most notably CNN, has brought the medical marijuana industry far more recognition and legitimacy. So the more states are introducing medical marijuana bills for legalization, more and more capital firms and investors are getting in the game as well. More patients are signing up for medical marijuana cards, and also more customers are becoming more curious about the product itself. We have several customers that come into the store that are say that they saw something on CNN. They saw CNN special, or we're looking on YouTube and found some things about some Rick Simpson oil, and come in and ask questions, and they're curious. And so we're definitely there to help them out, and provide some sort of education for them as well. So $10.2 billion is the estimated amount that the national legal marijuana market will be worth in 5 years, according to ArcView Market Research. And this is almost a 7-fold projected increase. So also with the more mainstream media and the more activists and the more states, that amount will increase. So 23 states have legalized medical marijuana. Not all states have a concise plan of action for implementation, and I know in the next few years that they will. So Washington, D.C., Colorado, Washington, Alaska, and Oregon have legalized retail marijuana. Oregon and Alaska are expected to add a combined $275 million in retail marijuana sales in the first year of operation. We're already seeing some of those numbers come to fruition in just the first week in Oregon. And I know a big concern is the feds, and the biggest federal win for the cannabis industry was the omnibus spending bill passed in 2014, and it effectively eliminated the federal government's agencies from using federal funds to interfere with state law implementation of medical and legal use operations. So medical marijuana dispensaries currently exist in 18 states and in Washington, D.C., and we can definitely see the interest as well, even in states where medical marijuana doesn't exist. For example, Texas. And I know that Florida is still going back and forth on constructing their laws. But at the same time, there are cannabis conventions all over the states that are bringing in huge crowds, just for sheer education and information. And our very own CFO, Garrett Vogel, I'm sure will be joining us here shortly. He was featured at the Oregon Medical Marijuana Business Conference in Portland, and I'm gonna do a little quote from him. And he said, quote, it's not a movement, but it's a tsunami. And in the context is, it's not just a movement, and there are floods of people that are interested and curious, and I'm really excited that we're in the middle of it all. We're in the middle, and we're pushing forward, and we're looking to grow. So a few of the most notable investments in the cannabis industry, we have Privateer Holdings that has raised $82 million. ArcView Group, which has invested more than $41 million. New York-based cannabis private equity firm, Tatara Capital, has their first round of fundraising has raised $26 million. and their goal is to raise $100 million. And there are a few other financial firms that are also in the space: Deutsche Cannabis AG, Poseidon Asset Management, Emerald Ocean. There's quite a few other capital firms that aren't listed here that have been supporting quite a bit of the cannabis industry. So today there are about 300 publicly traded cannabis companies versus just 13 in 2013. And so we're definitely growing. And among those 300, 40 raised a total of $95 million in 2014 and the first quarter of this year. So our corporate strategy, with more than 23 states approving medical marijuana and additional states that have retail marijuana, we're looking to expand and do a vertical integration in each state. Our strategy includes retail distribution, organic cultivation, marketing and branding of premier products, wholesale sales, testing, and processing infused products. Currently, we have 3 phases of our operations. Right now, we are in the Oregon legal state market, and our phase 1 is retail. And the way that we got started in Oregon was to partner with existing dispensaries or acquiring existing and operating dispensaries. And our priority is on the immediate revenue generation. As soon as somebody comes in the door and we sell product, then we recognize sales and recognize some sort of revenue. And we're also applying for new operating license in all these states as well. So we have a few strategies on how to enter a market through the retail sector. The next phase 2 is cultivation. Phase 2 on cultivation, why that is important is because we can control market price. As far as we grow it in our own warehouse, we control the expenses, and we can control how much we sell it for also in our stores. At the same time, we're creating that consistency, quality, and availability that our patients are needing. Consistency in products is a big issue that we're trying to solve across the board. Our cultivation and warehouse space supports our retail sales. We start from seed to sale, so we're in control of what kind of soil we use, what kind of nutrients we use, and the outcome as well. So with phase 2 in the cultivation, we're also wanting to create an exclusive brand that is only available at our retail stores. So also along the same lines with cultivation, we're looking into some testing facilities. So that would offset our off-site testing expenses. Everything that we want in our stores, we would like, and some laws in some states has to be tested for mold, mildew, and pesticides. And so we would only want the top quality of products going into our stores. So testing expenses, we would offset that. We would also increase our quality of products if we have a testing lab, because we would know the test results that come through the doors, and we can almost cherry pick what product we would like to have. Our phase 3 would be infused products. Our infused products would support our cultivation and retail by offsetting some waste, reducing waste to maximize profits. We'll also be able to control the market in the same way as the cultivation phase. And the same thing as cultivation, we'd want to create our top tier brand that would only be available in our MCPI retail. Currently, our phase 1 retail operations are in Oregon. We have 3 dispensaries currently that are open and operating, and they're all branded under the same name. All three are called the Medication Station. We have a retail store in Bend, Oregon, and in Cottage Grove, Oregon, which is about just south of Eugene. And we also have a store in Newport, Oregon, on the coast. And so early projections for recreational sales in Oregon were about 38.5 million for the first year. And I was reading an article yesterday, and so the first week of sales in Oregon came in at $11 million. So in the first week, we've already exceeded, compared to Colorado, by double. Colorado, in the first week of recreational sales, hit 5 million. So again, Oregon hit 11 million and Colorado hit 5 million. So compared to Washington State, it took Washington State a full month to reach $2 million in recreational sales. So I'm happy to say that we're definitely on the right path, and we're exceeding both Colorado and Washington expectations. And these are pictures. This is our newest store that we just opened in Newport, and this is the model that we would like to use going forward. Nice and clean, a safe, a comfortable place for our patients to come. So many dispensaries across the states are right now privately owned by independent entrepreneurs or mom and pop shops. So there are some states right now that have co-op style rather than a actual licensing style. And so with the financial and banking difficulties surrounding the legal market, many of these entrepreneurs are limited with additional capital and find themselves in a little bit of a bind trying to stock inventory and cash management. And so we're definitely positioned right now able to acquire and partner with these dispensary entrepreneurs throughout the country, not only for financial relief and funding, but also for operational marketing, branding, distribution, and basic business support. So through the low-cost acquisitions, we're able to gain early entrance into the Oregon market, and that's what we'd like to replicate in some of these other states as well, to realize and to get a foot in the door before a lot of the other states start legalizing recreational. I do believe that it's almost inevitable that all states will become legal and medical marijuana first, and then eventually recreational. So our phase 2 of cultivation. So we currently have a cultivation site. So the goods grown and produced in-house would provide greater control over cost of goods and market prices. The cultivation operation allows for flexibility and to undercut some of our competitor pricing as well. One of the biggest things that I'm seeing out here, and I do believe is the same problem in Colorado and Washington, is the quality, consistency, and availability. Currently, cannabis is a seasonal market, similar to hops and similar to some of the other fruits and vegetables. So majority of the growers and farmers crop about every 12 to 18 weeks, which creates a market shortage and then also a market flood of product. And the pricing will follow suit. So as far as what we're trying to do and what we've implemented is through our proprietary growing techniques, we are able to crop every week, once a week. So we're on our rotation once a week instead of having to wait 3 months for our next crop. So at the same time, when we crop once a week, we'll have availability in our stores, consistent availability. If a patient comes in and they found that a certain strain worked for them and worked for their ailments to alleviate some sort of ailment, then they know the next time that they come in, if they come in a month later or 2 months later, that the same product will be in our store and it will be very consistent, and they have a go-to store and a go-to medicine that works for them. Also, the quality, where through our growing techniques, we know exactly what is in the soil and what nutrients we're using, and that we're all organic. And the testing, above all, we know that it's going to be a great quality for our patients and for our customers. The cultivation side supports our retail by adding, superior products, and also we're looking to create our exclusive brand. So right now our products are under Emerald Mountain Organics, and they will be our exclusive brand, and only MCPI dispensaries will carry Emerald Mountain Organics products. So that would be our key point, where we have where we would want customers to come in simply because they appreciate our quality of product and come in, and we would want them to request an Emerald Mountain Organic product. This is a little picture here of our plants and our growth cycles. Our warehouse that we have going. We have all indoor. So some milestones that we have. So December 2014, we entered into a joint venture with Royal Tree Organics with our growers that have years of experience. And in June 2015, we solidified the joint venture. And also that same month, we leased 11,000 square foot warehouse. And as of August 2015, we finished building out 5,000 square feet for our cultivation operations. That being said, we have an extra 6,000 square feet that is yet to be built out, and we are looking to expand and looking to grow on that side as well. Our third phase that we would like to implement, and we're actually in the process, very beginning stages of phase 3 in Oregon, is infused products. Marijuana infused products represent one of the fastest growing segments of the cannabis industry. I know there are a few other presenters that had marijuana infused products. Marijuana-infused products consist of edibles, beverages, topicals, tinctures, concentrates, extracts, vape cartridges that would be considered concentrates. And so our launch of our first of phase 3 is actually beginning right now as we speak. We're doing some trials with some Rick Simpson oils and some extracts. The infused products will support our cultivation sites because the infused products are generated from flower waste. Some of the trim and shake that we get off of our buds and our flowers will go into cooking butters and cooking oils for the edibles and for the beverages and for the topicals. We'd also want to create the exclusive brand of infused products as far as vape pens. We're yet to decide on a name, and we're in the process of getting together a marketing and branding strategy for our infused products. We would have those in our stores as well, and have those as a premier quality product that's only available at MCPI retail locations. So all in all, we're really trying to build our customer loyalty and a repeat customer base. We've already seen a good turnout of customers that are consistently coming into our retail locations. And so we're trying to, we would like to improve on that and improve on the numbers and also improve on our products that we offer our patients. When we create our exclusive brands, I think that would be something that would add excitement to the game as well. Excitement to our customers. We have a new product. Check this out. Let us know how we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. And has Garrett joined us quite yet?
Garrett is here.
Okay, great. All right, well, Garrett, I'll go ahead and hand this off to you on some of our financial sides, so you can touch base on that for our listeners.
Okay, I do not have the capacity. Gracie and I are at different locations to control the screen. So I'm just going to say next, Gracie, if that's okay, when I need you to kick up the next screen.
Okay, that'll be perfect.
As she said, we went from 0 to 3 stores in the last quarter of 2014. Basically, our structure reflected the legal environment at the time, and so we essentially operated as a management company, and the auditors, to be blunt, were reluctant to let us recognize management income, and so our income has been nominal. In the third quarter of 2015, we rolled the actual stores into MCPI, and so we'll start reflecting their sales in the third quarter of 2015. Those will be fairly dramatic. We lost money substantial money in the first 6 months of 2015. The lion's share of that came from a consulting agreement, which attributed more than half of that amount of money. We expect to be profitable. You hate to predict things that you can't completely control, but we expect to be profitable by the end of 2015. The results of September and the first part of October indicate that we're well on track to do that. In fact, our sales for the first week of October exceeded $50,000. Obviously, there's some initial euphoria about recreational, but other states have shown that euphoria tended to stick, and as Gracie pointed out earlier, Oregon is way ahead of the other states in terms of the acceptance of recreational, or as they now call it, adult use marijuana. We're talking about the particular stores there. We recently announced that we have acquired an operation somewhat similar to us in Colorado. It's more mature. It has 2 significant dispensaries, one in Denver and one in Colorado Springs. It also has growing operations, both indoor and outdoor. So the strategy, as Gracie has said, is that we are taking a mom and pop industry and turning it into a professionally managed brand, that the stores are recognizable, the products are recognizable, and it's our objective to have very similar products, if not identical, in all the stores, so that if you go into a medication station, you know what you're getting. We're also vertically integrated, as she had discussed, being in the seed, but as they say in the industry, in the seed to sale business, where we take it from cultivating through processing, through further processing such as infusion, to the end level, including testing. We think that because of our vertical integration and our horizontal integration, being both in the legal and not legal, in the medical and the recreational areas, as well as our geographic diversification in being in multiple states and planning on extending into other states, puts us in a position to capitalize on wherever the industry is going to go, which probably will be a roll-up, but by you'd just be speculating that the general speculation is tobacco or alcohol companies, and what they're going to want when the roll-up time comes, nobody really knows, but whatever they have, we're probably going to be in a position to give it to them. Our balance sheet is fairly clean. It does have debt on it, but it's friendly debt, and it's not debt that can be converted at a rate that would adversely affect existing shareholders. We're completely current with our SEC filings, and we're looking for some short-term money. We believe we have that already in place. We have not closed on it yet, but we really believe we have capital for all of our anticipated activities, although in this business, opportunities present themselves every day, and you never quite know where you're going to go when the opportunities present themselves. Anyway, we also are somewhat unique in that we do not have a huge number of shares outstanding. We had 50 million before the Colorado combination. We'll have approximately 100 million after the combination. Those shares have not yet been issued because this deal was just announced last week. We are planning on targeting retail investors to start increasing the volume in our stock so that it would improve liquidity. That liquidity would help everybody. And so we're talking about taking broker-dealer road shows, hitting industry groups. This investor webcast, of course, is an example. And there's just, you can see the list of the other trade shows that we intend to go to. We also are hitting the industry shows such as the Oregon Business Conference that she mentioned, that Gracie mentioned earlier, and there's another Oregon Business Conference specifically addressing the retail, the recreational process that's going to be held next month. Anyway, there's no shortages, I'm sure you're all aware, of opportunities to show yourself off in this industry. Anyway, one of our core values and how we hope to distinguish ourselves is to be transparent, and not to try and be transparent, but to be transparent. And that's one of the reasons we're public, and that's one of the reasons we keep current on our filings. And so, as the chart says, we want to act with accountability. We want to be comprehensible. We want to be transparent. We want to continually improve corporate governance and to be a model in the industry. And we want to focus on doing what we know how to do best and on increasing value to you, our future shareholders. That's us. And if you have any questions or comments, call us or email us, and Gracie or I will respond. And if we can't answer, we'll get you the answer as quickly as possible.
All right, thank you, Garrett, and thank you, Gracie. The first question: why do you think the Oregon launch of recreational retail sales did better than Washington and Colorado?
You know, I honestly do think that the anticipation had quite a bit to do with it. Recreational sales were approved in July. They were approved in July, so it was okay, legally okay for for residences to be able to have marijuana, a certain amount of marijuana on their person, and to smoke marijuana if they would like to. So that was approved in July. And from July to October, there was that much anticipation where in July there was no legal way for recreational users to purchase. And in that case, all the recreational users that were celebrating in July really didn't have an outlet to purchase. So from July, August, September, and then October comes, and I think that excitement was just continually building for these recreational users to be able to walk into a store legally and purchase their product.
There's no way of quantifying this, but I think you're right. I think there was an anticipation and no outlet for realizing that anticipation. I think that also a contributing factor might be that Oregon's licensing procedure is fairly cumbersome and expensive. The patients can get some financial relief, but the documentation process and the multiple visit type process could be kind of off-putting to people that weren't used to doing paperwork, seeing doctors, and writing checks. And so it may be that they were just waiting for recreation to happen a little more than other states where the licensing procedure might be easier.
The dispensaries in Colorado, what is the name of those dispensaries, and are they going to be changed to the medication station?
They will be changed to the medication station.
What is the name now? Do you know?
AMA is one of them, and I honestly can't remember the name of the one in Colorado Springs right now. Do you remember it, Gracie, by any chance?
No, and I actually probably would not want to release that information just yet. We're still in the process of reviewing and auditing as well.
Why did you decide to acquire World of Weed, and what are the benefits, some of the benefits and advantages?
Well, World of Weed is a relatively high volume operation, and it's integrated in vertically and horizontally the same way we are, and so it's really a pretty good fit. I don't like to use the word synergy, but basically they do the same things we do, only they've been doing them a little longer. We have capacities they don't, they have capacities we don't, and we actually know some of the principals with World of Weed and have known them for years, decades. And so it was sort of a merger of equals, and that seemed like a logical thing to do.
All right, going back to the previous question of how is the company getting around residency requirements in Colorado, they gave a little more color. Colorado requires the owner to be a resident. That is why there are no publicly traded companies holding licenses in Colorado. So again, the original question is, what is it, how is the company, which is Med-Cannabis Pharma, getting around residency requirements in Colorado?
Well, I wouldn't state it as getting around anything. We're not trying to get around any legalities. We do have a great legal firm that we're working with out in Colorado, and a few more as well that are helping us along the way.
Next question, could you give some color on the co-CEO and new board appointments?
Yeah, you want to go ahead and address that, Garrett?
What do you mean color?
So I guess they're asking, how does that work, co-CEO?
Oh, well, basically it's not an unheard of concept in a number of industries, and basically it's the office of the chief executive officer. There's a functional divide just for practical matters where Anthony takes care of the Colorado operations, and Gracie takes care of the Oregon operations. But from an organizational standpoint, I report to both of them.
Well, I think also, you know, it's going to create a really good partnership. Anthony Russo, who will be the co-CEO in Colorado, you know, we're acting as a team, and that's really what we're, you know, what I'm all about is, you know, Anthony can bring several qualities and skills to the table, as can I. And I think working together, I mean, two brains are definitely better than one. You know, if we're looking to expand in Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, other states, then I know that Anthony logistically will be closer to those states. The same as, you know, I'm up in Oregon. If we're looking to expand in Oregon, Washington, and California, then, you know, I would be able to handle this region up here as well.
Okay, next question. What happened in the state of Washington? Your company made several announcements about dispensaries, all of which fell through. Do you intend to try again in Washington?
In terms of intentions, I'll let Gracie address it. In terms of what happened, to be blunt, the regulatory environment up there was not as fully developed as we had thought it was going to be, and we made some bad partnership decisions in terms of who we choose to do business with up there. It was just, frankly, it was premature, and when we saw that it was premature, we just pulled out of the state.
Right. Washington medical marijuana laws are still in a gray area. And if you know, anybody's been keeping up with the Washington state medical laws, they're still trying to decipher and figure out how to either combine or separate medical and recreational. And so it didn't feel like it was a slam dunk out in Washington State, and decided to pull out until they can come up with how they would like to proceed. As far as going extending additional operations into Washington State, it still is on my radar. I would like to, but like Garrett said, there are still some governances and licensing requirements that aren't necessarily in favor of corporations and businesses, and there are quite a bit of hurdles that the state of Washington still has to jump through to get a solid regulation for their cannabis industry.
Next question. What differentiates you from other publicly traded dispensaries like Kaya Holdings and Serendipity?
I'm not familiar with Serendipity. We've got more meat on our bones than Kaya does, and we're multi-state, and Kaya isn't. I'd say that those are are probably the two initial differences between us and them.
Right. Serendipity Holdings, I've looked at their profile, and their concept is to franchise. So they're franchising dispensaries, but they don't actually own the asset. And I think that is a big difference between us and Serendipity.
Next question. Can you give us your acquisition strategy going forward? You plan to expand to all legal states?
I would say, and we have some animated internal discussions about this. I would say that there are certain practicalities to staying geographically compact. I would also say that if the opportunity to get into some really major markets, like in the Northeast, presented themselves, that would probably find a way to address that challenge.
Next question. the funding that you need short term, what are the plans for your short term funding?
Short-term funding is basically going to be to continue acquisitions as they become available and or from the ground up expansions. It's going to be to start some real product promotion. We've been very good at what I call guerrilla marketing, but there's only so many trade shows, cannabis fairs, that kind of thing you can go to. If you're trying to really establish a national or even super regional brand and a product brand, you need to do it in a professional and organized manner. And so product and brand promotion and just organic growth.
And the last question is regarding the California market. What is your outlook as far as California is concerned?
Yeah, I'm very positive on California. I know that California is going through some changes with their legalization and licensing as well, and I think that it's very much fertile land for us to expand into. Do you want to elaborate on that, Garrett, on California?
No, California market, when I talk about major markets, that would be the one that is geographically close to us and would certainly be a desirable market to get into. And we are exploring options in that industry. We're exploring options in California right now.
Okay. I would assume that there's a lot of mom and pops in California, and I think they probably would want to, I guess because of the cost to do business on a heavy regulated environment, they would want to kind of get out the business, and so therefore valuations would be kind of lower to acquire those. So I guess it would be a great acquisition strategy to go in California with, and maybe be sort of the exit strategy for a lot of the mom and pops in California.
Yes, this industry is certainly not friendly to mom and pops. It's barely friendly to somebody as big as us. It is regulatory intensive, as everybody knows.
Okay. Well, that concludes our Q&A. We really want to thank you, Gracie and Garrett. Any last comments regarding Med-Cannabis Pharma Incorporated?
I would say that the one thing about us that we're somewhat unique, even though there are other people that are slightly in the business we are. We're somewhat unique in that we actually are delivering product to the end user. It's my personal belief that if and when the roll-up comes, that customers are going to be a highly valued asset. It's hard to convince people to quit going places where they're used to going, and that from an investor confidence standpoint, the fact that we stay current with our filings, the fact that you can go on Google Earth and look at our stores should make the investor feel that in a industry where everybody has some lagging concerns about, that we're probably as good a play as anybody in terms of being transparent, being real, and being poised to move ahead at an aggressive rate.
Well, we really thank you guys for coming on and presenting, and we'll keep tabs on your company and your stock price, and hopefully you guys will come on in the future and give us an update. So thank you. Our next presentation is with medical marijuana at the top of the hour in about 5 minutes. Thank you, Gracie. Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.